Welcome to Women Talking Soccer. I'm your host, Carrie Taylor. The goal of this podcast is to amplify the voices of all women who love the beautiful game. Whether you're on the field, cheering from the stands, work in the business, want to be in the business, or are a passionate change maker, your voice is important. This podcast is presented by Women in Soccer. Women in Soccer is a network of women and allies involved in our favorite sport. You can join Women in Soccer for free online at womeninsoccer.org. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on Women Talking Soccer. Today, I have a great, fantastic guest, Aries Pickett, who is the senior talent manager or senior manager for talent administration for the NWSL. I probably just massacred your title, but Aries, thank you so much for joining us. And can you tell some of our listeners your background and kind of, where you came from and who you are?
Hello, I am honored to speak with you guys today. It's a really great honor. Thank you, Carrie, for having me. My name is Aries Pickett, and Carrie, you did not mess up my job title. So just to make it simpler, I I am the head of the HR department
Oh,
at
okay.
NWSL. Um, there, I am in charge of benefits, recruiting, employee relations, and just all type of organization and so it encompasses pretty much everything. I am born and raised in Chicago.
Okay.
Um, I went to Eureka. That is a small liberal private school in central Illinois. And I guess our famous alumni, Ronald Reagan. So when I say that, they're like, oh, okay, Ronald Reagan graduated from Eureka College. Yes. So graduated back in 2005, and then I came back home to Chicago, start working in corporate America. I graduated with a BS in business, so in communications, and so I didn't know it was that's such of a broad degree. So you can go into marketing, you can go into finance, and I just started off doing administrative work, as office assistant work, just trying to find my niche and see what aspect of business into. And I was fortunate enough to assist the HR department and payroll department. I'm like, okay, I have a natural gift and talent with people. This belong. This is who I am. And so I literally got a job. Started off as an HR assistant at the Big Ten Network. I literally developed and grew our career there. And here I am now, today, heading the HR department for the greatest soccer league out, women's soccer league. So that's kind of a little bit of my background in my career.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And you're back in Chicago, correct? Because the NWSL is based in Chicago.
Yeah. Yes. Currently headquarters is currently in Chicago. So yes, I'm still located in Chicago, Illinois. Windy
Okay.
City.
Yeah, I bet it's pretty windy being January and everything. Good times.
Pretty windy and cold this time.
Yeah, I'm from the Midwest too, so I spent some good amount of time in Chicago. So I definitely it's a great city and definitely have enjoyed playing lots of soccer in and around that area. Um, so what's your favorite thing about working for the NWSL?
Oh wow. Well, first of all, when I in June of 2019, and so when I came on board, Carrie, I came on board the best time anyone could ask for, because that was when we were underway of winning the 2019 World Cup. And so I tell you, like, literally, to be honest, my corporate America, working in different sports industries. Soccer was different, but it was still sports related. And so I literally became a fan day one, and I was so invested into these women and this organization. And so I fell in love with NWSL. It is the greatest honor being a part of this league, representing this league, and the players are phenomenal. We have a phenomenal staff. We're small but mighty, but we get the job done. And it's a great time to be a part of a league that's getting the recognition that we deserve, and we're still not done yet, right? So but we have a great fierce leader, Lisa B, and I tell you, there are some exciting things that's happening with NWSL. So I love everything about it, and I'm so happy and proud to be a part of the.
Well, thank you. I can't wait to find out. It sounds like you've got some things, underneath your sleeve that you can't talk about yet for growth or fun things happening. And I know how that works. You're like, there's good things to come. So
Yes, growth and
I will stay tuned.
Carrie, great things.
Great things to come. Yeah, it's been a really exciting time, with Louisville coming into the league and the announcement of LA and Sacramento. So that growth is definitely there, which is exciting.
It's there, right?
Yeah,
It is so exciting.
yeah.
And our partnerships have been like just over the last year, like look at our partnerships and sponsorship, like it has just been a great ride. And so I'm like I said, I'm excited to see our future. And we're like we're gonna be a staple. It's just great things. It really is
Yeah,
happening.
I agree 100%. And I just bought myself a shirt. I was going to wear it today, but it says the future is female. And I firmly believe that with, not just within soccer, but in general. Yeah. It's like, it's coming,
That's
boys.
right.
Watch out. Watch
Yes,
out.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Watch out. We're kicking butt. We're here to stay. Like, it's our time.
it
We are
is.
shining.
It is.
Shining.
So, when a lot of people think about professional soccer, professional women's soccer, they think about it from the aspect of being a player in the league or being a coach in the league. Can you kind of share, like, what does a day in your life look like? Like, what are some of the things that you're responsible for? Because, there are more jobs out there than just player or coach. There's GM, there's owners, there's HR, there's, strength and conditioning, physical therapy, all of that. So explain, like, what does a day in the life look like for you?
Absolutely. Well, the fans in the world get to enjoy the players do their like see them in their best light, their craft, right? And so we work, right? We make sure, like for me, I make sure that all of the great players that's playing out there, that their benefits are taken care of. So,
Yeah.
you know, I make sure that they're getting paid and like all their business affairs are in order. And so that is what we do. There are so much just to, uh, soccer. And so we handle the business side of it because there is a business side of things and making sure that these players our business is taken care of, right? So that is what I do. That's how I interact with the players, just making sure that they have everything in order and they're getting paid correctly, and that if they need assistance with anything else from an HR standpoint, I'm there to also give them the support that they need. So that's what we do. We're working behind the scenes on the behalf of the players, making sure that their business are in order.
Okay. That's a good snapshot of, because a lot of times people don't think about actually what goes into the business side of putting the players out there, putting teams out there.
Yeah,
And there's, I mean,
and it's absolutely, and it's a lot.
yeah, like from workman's
I mean, think
workman's
about it. You
comp.
have some players coming, right, right. All of that. Even just the education behind it. So, like, have some players literally coming out of college, and has been on their parents' insurance. They don't know anything about benefits, and just walking them through, helping them, um, just the little things that matters, right? And so, that's what we do. We make sure that they their business affairs in order, that, yeah, you can play, but make sure that we got your back, we got your support. We want to make sure that you're, if you get hurt out there, all taken care of, you have the support, the medical team, all of that. So, yep, it's a lot of work behind the scenes that we do as a league, just to make sure our players are being taken care of.
Well, thank you for doing that, because it's super, super important. And, my guess is sometimes maybe people forget to say thank you for, for all that you do. So thank you for taking care of the players' needs and guiding them. I mean, yeah, we all know how
It's an honor. It's an
yeah,
honor.
yeah,
It's an
but
honor. And,
you still need a
it,
big thanks. So
yeah,
thank you.
it's no, and look, it's an honor, so I don't mind it at all, because I'm like, wow, I love watching you play. Okay, let me sure you get this done. And so, so I love it. I really do.
That's great. So I know you have some initiatives that you help bring to the league. I believe you were involved with the Juneteenth holiday. Can you talk more about that, and what kind of,
Yeah,
maybe nonprofits you work with, or your goals
absolutely.
for equity, diversity, and inclusion?
Absolutely, absolutely. That was a proud moment, and I got a chance to talk about it during our lunch, WIS line, talk about them in a little
Yeah.
bit, but that great organization. And so, yeah, it was a proud moment. When you think about social, you know, literally something that's captured the world's attention, right? Especially in the wake of past year. And so, as a league, I'm so proud to be a part of NWSL, because we have leaders, a great leader that stood behind our players, gave them voices, and just was really hearing how everyone was feeling about what was going on, right? And so, especially for being a minority, we suffered in silence, meaning that I feel like, when you're silent, you're not helping the situation. And so when you have companies, leaders, I mean, when you have all these great people and organizations stand, hey, we're not going to stand for these injustices, and we want to get behind, treating people fairly, and I tell you, it was so that was all in the wake of just this whole social justice movement. And so, it was certain companies putting it out there that, Juneteenth should be recognized. And so, Lisa Baird and I had a conversation, and it was like, we're change champions. Let's working together with her to educate our staff, our members, let them know what that day is, that what it means, and why we as a league celebrate it too, not for 2020, but indefinitely.
Mhm.
And so the overwhelming support behind it, it felt so good just to have that. Um, and also from an HR standpoint, we've talked about, okay, well, how we need to be the change that we want to see. So, from an HR standpoint, what can I do to impact change, right? When it comes to diversity and inclusion, and all this, all, everything around social justice. And from a hiring standpoint, when I meet with the hiring managers, I make sure that I present to them a diverse amount of candidates
Mhm.
age, like, so I make sure that, everyone is inclusive, right? So, we're hiring people, backgrounds and cultures. And so we have to be the change. We have to be the change we want to see, and that starts within our organization. So that's also how I am currently making an impact, just making sure that I am in everyone is opportunity when we have positions that we are hiring for. And another thing I talked about, during our session, WIS, was, we are currently working on creating a robust diversity and inclusion programs for our players and our staff. So when we start the season, we're going to have so many resources for them and support, and we just don't want to just check off the box and say, yeah, we did this for this year. We want to have something that's sustainable, that's impactful, that's inspiring, that touches and just other issues that that happens on and off the field. So that is something that I am definitely 100%, and we are currently creating that this year. So I'm so excited about that as well.
I can feel your passion coming through the video and the screen, and you mentioned you said the phrase change champions, and I wrote that down because that's really powerful. And we talk about, from my perspective in coaching, we always talk about like, well, why aren't there more women coaches? And it's not rocket science. You just need to hire them.
Yeah.
You need to be a change champion. It's why aren't why
Right.
you just
Absolutely.
need to do it. And you look across multitudes of sports, and you look, and it doesn't necessarily look like America, and that's what needs to change. Like we have to stop just hiring people that look like us. And when I say us, like me being a white person, like I understand that I've lived my life with different privileges than other people, and like I have to be intentional about making change and doing what's right for humans, like point blank for humans. And so
Yeah. And you know and that's a start right there, Carrie. That's something that the world needs to hear. Being proud. Like, yeah, you're proud woman, but you also recognize that there's some disparities there. That there's some privileges that you may have had that others unfortunately didn't get a chance to get. And so just acknowledging that is a start. And it's like, for me, hearing that as a minority, it literally, because now you're showing empathy. And so it's like, now you understand. And when we are able to, I feel, humble ourselves and just listen and show empathy, we're able to unite and say, okay, let's move towards change. This is acknowledge, how do we move towards change? How do we include everyone, how, so that everyone could be get a piece of the pie, right?
mhm.
So there's no, any, and we're with, you cut, we both cut each other, cut our wrists, we're gonna bleed. We're the same. We're
Yep.
just, different in our background, our colors, but we're all humans. And so absolutely. And I appreciate you saying that. And to your point about, yes, we have to hire them too. I feel like women in general, we're so underrepresented when it comes to management, whether you're a GM, a coach,
Yep.
owner. In
Yeah.
corporate America, there is a lack of women presence, or you can see there none, right? When it comes to women in leadership. And I feel like, it's time for a lot of an organization to recognize and acknowledge that and say, hey, not only do we need to hire them, because yes, we want to make sure they're qualified, but let's let's
Mhm.
create programs that can help train and develop them and to become a leader. You know what I mean? Because some people may not be qualified as the next man, or but if you create programs for women to become leaders, then we can see more women see and CEOs and GMs and coaches. But I feel like people have to create that space. Even when it comes to minorities in management, that's something for me.
Mhm.
I got an opportunity to see, I've been in corporate America for 15, 16 years. And so, if you see something, then you can be it, right? And so there at all. So for years, I will always hit a glass ceiling, like, is there a possibility that I can ever be manager or ever get to this point? Because maybe I'm not good enough because I don't see it, and there's no programs, and there's already like, we have to be the change we want to see. We have to say, you know what, enough is enough. We need to get more women in the forefront. We need to get more women in management, to get more minorities, bring them in, create programs that can help them, because some of them need help, because for whatever reason, maybe they hadn't got the same education as their peer. So that's when we create programs and resources to help them, whether that's mentorship or whatever, but be the change we want to see. And it just acknowledge it and say, hey, let's do something about this.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, positively, and that's kind of a good segue into the women in soccer group. And so, why did you get involved with women in soccer? Like, why did that new program and platform kind of speak to you?
Oh, absolutely. So it's funny because I got connected with Courtney and Rachel through a colleague of mine. Thought it was just us because they wanted to partner with helping fill job roles, because being in HR, you get bombarded by companies help you fill jobs. So when I spoke to them, I was just like, oh yeah, we have these jobs, coming down the pipeline, and just small talk, not thinking anything of it.
Mm-hmm.
Then Courtney and Rachel started saying, hey, well, we want to know more about you and your background and how you got involved in soccer and specifically league. And so I got into my background and what I was currently doing at NWSL, and they were like, wait, what? You we part of women in soccer. Let us tell you about this organization. And when they told me about what women in soccer was and just how it's about women empowerment, it's bringing together those who have a passion and love for the game of soccer. Because when you think of soccer, and that's like the most celebrated sport around the world, right? And so now you have women that's kicking butt and
Mm-hmm.
and being dominant doing soccer, having a platform for women who love soccer to connect, to provide resources, and just to and hey, there's so many ways you can still be involved in soccer, even if you're not a professional player. There's a business side of soccer. There are things you can get involved in, so many organizations,
Yeah.
to still have that, to keep that passion for soccer. I was like, this is all impactful for me. I want to
Yeah.
be a part of soccer. How can I be involved? And so they definitely welcomed me and invited me to be an expert member. And so this organization has really impacted me and inspired me in so many ways, because even connecting with great women like yourself, Carrie, in your position, everything you've done, it's such of an honor to be a part of this group and this organization that want to help people, inspire people, and provide resources to so many people. And we welcome men too,
Yeah.
so it's just a great organization. And I couldn't speak more highly about great trajectory. And I feel like, I feel like we are here to stay and we're not going anywhere. So I'm so happy to be a part of Women in Soccer.
Well, we're definitely happy to have you involved, and I'm looking forward to like when you're doing a webinar or uh, when are you going to do something on the platform so I can learn from you. But yeah, it's a free platform for those of you that might not know exactly what Women in Soccer is. It's a free platform. It's kind of like a LinkedIn for women in the game. It's a place to connect. It's a place to
Yeah.
talk
Hmm.
in Slack channels. We do programming, we do the podcasts. Brandy
Yes.
Chastain did a segment called Brandy's Corner last Wednesday, where she literally like did a 2-hour webinar, and it was so much fun. And we were all in these chat rooms and got to meet other people in the game, men and women, as you mentioned, because we can't do it alone. We're definitely pro female, but we're not anti man, which is very important because I've had plenty of male mentors.
We welcome you all. We welcome everyone.
Exactly. Exactly. So
Absolutely, Carrie.
there'll be a lot more fun information and learning going on in the women in soccer space. So for those of you that are interested and haven't joined, it's womeninsoccer.org. You can check it out. You can talk to all of us that are involved in the founding group, and hopefully we can
Yes.
pass along, nuggets of our knowledge, our missteps and our successes and failures that we've all had along the way. So yeah,
Absolutely.
it's a great group. So I'm thoroughly enjoying it right now. Gonna switch
Great.
it a little bit. So
Join us today.
yes, join us today. I'm gonna switch it a little bit. Do you have any, like, what are your personal goals for Aries? Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like what, or, like with the league in 5 years, where do you want to see the league? Or just give the listeners some of, like, what are your main things that you're looking to accomplish?
Absolutely. Well, as the league grow, I'm growing. And so I do plan to still be with the NWSL in 5 years. And right now we are, again, as I mentioned, we're small but mighty. When I started, it was like 5, 6 league office. Now it's 20 plus. And so
Oh, okay.
5 years from now, my goal is to grow the league office organization, possibly, and literally creating a great diverse environment for everyone. Being in HR, you can't make everyone happy, but my job is to make sure that I provide as many resources. I make sure that everyone is good, and they sources to grow and to develop. And I can see myself, oh my god, at that point, probably a director. Right now I'm a senior manager. I can just see so many other opportunities, more. I have a great relationship with a lot of the clubs
Mhm.
within the league, and so it'll be good to just position where I'm able to travel to each of those teams and provide one-on-one. um I don't know. It just, more programming, more resources. Again, that training and development program open to within the NWSL, where I am literally developing women to in that C-suite leadership. Um, there's endless possibilities, but those are some of my goals. But to definitely still be with the league 5 years from now. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, it's definitely an exciting time for the league and with the new growth. And I'm on the outside looking in, and I'm always hearing, like, this city wants a franchise or wants a team, and this city wants a team, and so it'll be really exciting to see.
I know, right? Everybody,
There are so many
really
rumor
exciting,
there are so many rumors flying
really
around.
exciting. So,
It's quite funny. Like, I have friends that call me and say, "Did you hear this?" And I'm like,
ooh,
you know what? I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna speculate. I'm just gonna wait and take it all in. So, personal questions I always ask
there's
my
some
guests.
great things on the horizon. So stay
I'm
tuned.
I'm sure there are two personal questions
Okay.
that I always ask my guests. Do you have a favorite quote that you kind of live by, or a mantra that inspires you, or like gets you out of bed in the
Yep.
morning?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's literally the simple quote that everyone should know. It's the golden rule. It was instilled to the child, and that others as you would have them do unto you. And I instill that into my two little girls. I have a 3-year-old and an 8-year-old. And I instill that into them as my mother and my and as I have grown and got some experience behind my age, I will take that quote and I add to it. So I tell my girls, treat people the way you want to be treated, even if they treat you good. And that's hard to do. It's
Mhm.
hard to always turn the other cheek and treat people good, and don't treat you the same. But I've learned that, and it literally didn't happen overnight, but I learned that by experience,
Mhm.
especially in corporate America, because there's so many times where you're rejected, overlooked, or mistreated, but you have to always walk in integrity. And you have to live your life for you, not how allow people to shape who you are. You have to know who you are. You have to walk in integrity at all times, and you are living your life so that you can leave a legacy. So I learned to treat the people, not only to treat people the way I want to be treated, but even if you don't treat me well, guess what? I am going to treat you well and with the utmost respect. Because same people that once may have kicked you in the butt, those are the same people that comes back eventually and say, you know what? Wow, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that's
That's my quote. That's what I live by.
I like that. I like that a lot, and it's very true, and especially through 2020, I think hopefully people learned a lot of lessons of life, and hopefully
Yeah.
people have learned to be nicer to each other, because you never know what the other person's going through or what struggles they've had, or you know just some of the stuff that's gone on in
Absolutely.
our country. Like you have to lead with love.
Right? Absolutely.
Yeah. What about favorite
Leave.
book?
I love that. I love that, Carrie. Lead with love.
Lead with love.
Oh,
Yeah.
but can I do favorite books?
Yes, favorite
Okay,
books.
really quick. Okay. So there's a book called Duckworth. I don't know
Oh,
if you
yep.
read it,
I
but
have.
I love that book because that that book,
It's a good
it
one.
is so good. I feel like she was writing to me, right? She just literally let you know you don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be a genius. All you have to have is passion and perseverance and
Mhm.
grit, and you can be successful. You can't give up. You have to keep going. You have to keep pushing. You got to have that grit. You got to have that you out the bed and say, I can do this. And so, yeah, you don't have to be the smartest, and you don't have to have anything special about you, but just love that book. So that's one of my favorites. Becoming by Michelle Obama is one of my
Mhm.
favorites because, I can relate to her. She's a hometown Chicago girl and
Oh
from the
yeah.
south side of Chicago, and just seeing from, her humble beginnings where we are now. That's all about women empowerment. So I love that book. And my last favorite book is Rick Warren, The Purpose Driven Life. I love that book
Okay.
because you know what? I feel like, we always have in life, you have ups and downs. And so I can always go back, give me a picker upper, and just help me feel inspired. So those are my 3 top books.
No, those are great. And I read Michelle's book this summer. I actually listened to it. I don't listen to many books on audio, but I love her voice so much that I listened to it. And she was reading the book, and it was so
Yeah,
powerful. It was so
got a
good.
Grammy. Did she get like a, yeah. Wow. I actually read it, but I heard that the audio was really, really good. So I bet like you were all in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that is one woman that I would love to like sit down at a dinner table with and just have a glass of wine
Oh,
and talk to her. Like I love Michelle
I
Obama.
know, right?
And I feel like she would be nice to me, like I feel like she
One
would.
of us meet her first.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, whichever one of us meet her first, we have to there to
Yes.
the shindig so we
Yes.
can have our glass of wine and just catch up and have our girlfriend talk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I don't want to keep you much longer, but lastly, do you have any like words of wisdom or advice for young women out there, looking to break into the business side of soccer? Any words of wisdom?
Yes. My there is limited possible the possibilities are limitless. Don't ever limit yourself. You may have than you wanted to because of an injury, but you really love soccer and you really want to fulfill that passion in a soccer role. There are so many opportunities. You can be a part of an actual club on the business side of things or the league. There are so many other things. You just figure out what your passion, what your gifts are, and go for it. But don't ever think that, just because something didn't work out as planned, that's it. You can keep and always find other ways and other avenues to get what you want. Have that grit, that passion. I promise you, you will get to where you want to be.
That's great advice. And like I said, I'm from the Midwest. You grew up in Chicago. I think Midwestern people might be a little bit more gritty than some other
Chicago.
some other parts of the country. So
Right. Think of survive. Right. Right. If we can survive this cold, windy, crazy weather in the Midwest, you gotta have some
you got some grit. Yes.
You gotta have some. you gotta be strong, and I'm telling you to weather this crazy weather. But
yeah,
absolutely.
That's great. Well, Aries, thank you so much for sharing who you are and what you do and your energy with our Women Talking Soccer listeners. And thank you for being involved with women in soccer. And one of these days I'll get to meet you face to face, and we're going to have a lot of fun with all the other women involved in the Women in Soccer group. We need a retreat once COVID figures itself out.
For sure.
And
yes. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you for
We are going to have a great time connecting, and it's great. So thank you, Carrie. You have been nothing but great and gracious, and I love opportunity just to sit and talk with you. You made it so easy for me. So thank you so much for letting me be a part of this platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing your time with us.